My 40F fiancé, 40M, wants a prenup with uneven split on a business we built together. My 40F fiancé, 40M, are getting married. I've been married and divorced plus have 2 kids. He has been single except of one major relationship, but I think it lasted less than a year. We both have some serious emotional baggage that affects our relationship. I had a very controlling relationship with verbal, financial, and physical, our last fight, abuse that ended up leaving me and my ex's kids homeless and hungry. He, fiancé, was raised by an alcoholic pill-popping mother who on several occasions tried to run him over with her car. When we met, 2018, I had a great job, a paid-off house and a paid-off car. He had a great job, a truck with payment, and a home in another state that was rented out for the same as the mortgage and about $80K in savings retirement. Shortly after meeting he bought another house as he was living with his dad. A year or so into our relationship, 2019, he started talking about marriage. I was against it at first but then said I would consider it as long as we had a prenup written to where the kids and I would end up with our current home and a paid-off $20K car and leave him with his retirement, his savings, his houses and his vehicle. It upset my fiancé that I would want a prenup because he felt that it would only protect me. Now we've been living together in my home and I pay for all utilities and groceries until my funds are exhausted, then I use his. This started because the company I worked for folded and I spiraled into a really bad depression. About a year into that I started getting help. Mid-2020 I was better enough to start looking for a different job. He picked up the financial slack for that time. He told me his brother was going to retire in 13 years and he wanted to beat him to it. I came up with a plan. He sold his 2 homes that were rentals but not profitable and I sold my car. We bought 10 houses, 9 tenant-occupied, and I got to work rehabbing one. He paid for everything and I did the labor with my own hands. I had to tear the floors out down to the dirt. We hired out the vinyl finished flooring, I did all the framing and subfloor, and electrical. We bought the house for $30K and it appraised for $112. We cash out refied the house and used that money to pay for the next one that I am rehabbing. Again doing all the labor, but it takes a really long time because I'm all alone. He comes to help me maybe once or twice a month for no more than 4 hours at a time. I also do 80%-ish maintenance on tenant-occupied properties. Some things I just can't do. We are getting married in October. He just told me he wants a prenup saying he gets 70% of our business. Everything is in his name, including the truck I'm driving. He could legally walk away with everything except my home. I know it sounds lame but this work has taken a toll on my body. My hands hurt every day. I think I'm getting arthritis from the constant shaking of demo tools. In the meantime he has a full-time job in an air-conditioned office. Had I known that my contribution would leave me feeling trapped and only gain me 30%, I don't feel I would have made the same decisions. I would have made more money to contribute to my own wealth and the well-being of my kids. I really feel like I've been taken advantage of and backed into a corner. If I don't sign I get nothing, if I do sign I get less than what I think I deserve. He says he took all the risk by selling his houses so he gets more. He says he worked his ass off to pay for them, but they were both mortgaged, and I worked my ass off to pay for mine and did all the work rehabbing it while I lived in it. My kids and I didn't have running water for over a month while I worked on plumbing and bathroom renovations. I paid for it all and had zero debt. He brought $20K in credit card debt that he says we spent together during our dating phase. He says it's all hypothetical and doesn't mean anything because it only happens if we split, but I guess it shows me how he feels about my role and my contribution. I feel like this is going to do long-term damage to our relationship and I can already feel resentment on my part. Can we recover? My entire family has bought plane tickets to come see us married and he didn't bring it up until now. Too long did not read. 5-year relationship, fiancé wants prenup to say he gets 70% of business we built together. Talk to a lawyer. Have them review the prenup and share the facts of the situation. They can then advise you on what your counter prenup should look like. From what you describe, your fiancé is not respecting your sweat equity. Maybe ask a contractor what they would have charged for a job or give you a quote for an upcoming one. Use that as an estimate of your financial contribution. Your fiancé's reaction to your counter-proposal and explanation should tell you everything you need to know. I mean, is the cost of labor similar to the capital cost of buying the houses? What percentage do you feel is fair? Hang on, you said, we bought 10 houses. Does that mean that your name isn't on any of the houses? Or on the business itself? And yet you're doing all of this work? That feels completely unfair. If the business was his and not yours, then he should have been paying you for working on his houses. My 23F boyfriend, 21M, of 5 years is giving me the silent treatment for grieving. So, what happened is last night I got a phone call and found out that my grandfather has passed away. It's a big deal to me because we were very close, and another elderly family member has been taking care of him, and I hate for her to be alone during this time. I'm very upset, but holding it together, and my boyfriend is just having no empathy for my situation. I'm coming to terms with the fact that certain aspects of our relationship are unhealthy, but I really just need some outside perspective if I'm overreacting or expecting too much. Since I told him, he hasn't asked for any further details, so all he knows is simply that he's passed. He's avoided the topic entirely and even went so far as to get up and take a shower if I even mentioned it. I know it's not just out of him not knowing how to handle death, because he's also deliberately setting off my anxiety. He's refused to hug me, touch me, sit next to me, or really even look at me or take off his headphones for a day. I've been on and off the phone figuring out how to get time off work, flights, etc., and was actually fired from my shitty job for even asking for a couple days to fly out. He didn't even want to talk to me about that. Later on he flat out told me that he wants no part in it, that he can't tell me what to do and I needed to figure it out. He said he doesn't feel like supporting me emotionally, or otherwise, so don't bother asking. Not paraphrasing here, he gets really crazy about me leaving the house for any reason, even to smoke a cigarette, and will ignore me for hours, days leading up to me leaving the house, sometimes if I catch him in a bad mood. I always end up feeling guilty because I think it's like abandonment trauma, separation anxiety, and he's really nice to me when I stay home all the time. I just don't know what to do anymore. I made flights anyway because I'm exhausted and I want to be with my family, but I don't know how I'm going to be able to handle seeing everyone, processing the loss, while having my partner ignore me the whole time I'm there. He did this when I visited him the last time, and I ended up cutting my trip short because I kept having panic attacks. I know I need to stand up for myself or at least communicate about this, but I just don't know how to go about it. What should I say, do during and after this trip? Edit. I just want to say thank you for everyone that responded or is still responding. I'm across the country from my family and I don't really have any friends here. It's been very validating and I appreciate all of the comments. Last night I tried talking with him one more time and realized he was literally using Darvo on me and I was playing into it. To be honest, I've read the book Why Does He Do That already and was thinking it applies, but this whole situation is making it more apparent. I'm gonna try to find different living arrangements while I'm away and figure out how to end this relationship. I'm sorry to everyone who's had relationships like this too, and for those who relate to my loss. Hugs to you as well, Heartsuit. I think you know that you need to end this relationship. If he has abandonment issues, then that's on him to work through in therapy. Spend time with your family, grieve, and eventually work on a plan to leave this relationship. You deserve someone who can support you, not someone who is being manipulative. Leave his ass. He's not the one for you, not even close. You're hanging out and sleeping with a pig. Date someone at least human, please. From what others are saying and your responses to them, I think you're beginning to think seriously about getting out. While you're with family, it might be good to see what kind of a support network you have. Sometimes just knowing you have a safe place to land is worth a lot, even if you don't need it right away. I am so sorry for your loss. My condolences for your grandfather. What, other than your crappy boyfriend, is keeping you where you are? What if you fly home to see your family and just stay there and start over? Pack up all your essentials and take them with you. It's time to stand up, leave this bum. My M46 wife, F49, may be cheating. My wife, 49, may be cheating on me, M47. But I lack really hard proof. The background. We have been married for 16 years, 3 kids, 14, 13 and 10. 14 years ago she became a Som. Like any relationships, we have had our ups and downs. However, the last couple of months have all been down. We have stopped any real intimacy, have not kissed in months and never really spent any time together. A lot of this could be me, but mainly the year before was rough. We had moved house and she was diagnosed with breast cancer. She made a full recovery but is on hormone treatment. This clearly affects everything and was worried this was the reason for the last 3 months. There is another thing, she has a tight friend group of ladies from the school run. There is one guy, Dave, who also does it sometimes. People used to joke how close her and Dave acted sometimes, and one time I told her it made me uncomfortable. As the kids moved out of the primary school, the group daily got smaller. I was out of the country for business till Thursday. Thursday night I got a Facebook Messenger message but didn't read it. I did on Friday morning. It said Dave and her were having an affair and they wanted to let me know anon. They said check their messages and a blurry photo that could have them being in a clench. I tired DMing the account but it was gone. I did something bad. I looked at her phone first thing in the morning. On WhatsApp Dave was there. Number 2 on the list but blank messages. It didn't occur to me until later that means they must have been texting. On Saturday I released and tired again late that afternoon cause she left her phone down. There were 30-odd message in 2 days. Most were innocent and small. What the kids were doing, what they had for lunch. The first 2 on Sat morning started with, "Hey sexy." Then later my wife put in, "Hey, noticed it took you a while to get bold with me," no direct reply. Later they were all deleted again, but from the time of the messages below they had texted more. Today I have managed it 3 times. All the massages were deleted but again based on times they were texting all day. I really don't know what to do or how to confront this. It feels like she is cheating but I don't know. Dave is married and I half thought it could be his wife who sent the message but I really don't know her. What should my next steps be? Lawyer if applicable. I'm pretty sure they are having an emotional, if not physical affair. Reach out to his wife and tell her about the message and ask if she's noticed anything. And ultimately if the marriage seems dead, don't be afraid to get counseling and a divorce if it goes that way. You deserve to be happy. Just hire a pie. Sounds a lot like a situation I went through many years ago when I found out my wife cheated. This was before texting but I found her email chain. I confronted her and she admitted it and said it was a mistake and begged forgiveness. The guy was not from our town. We were in our early 40s. We stayed together, we had 4 school-age kids, but were never really intimate again, and after she had cancer twice and other medical issues. I do love her but miss intimacy and decided to not seek other women. I sometimes second-guess that decision but my vows are important to me. I would confront and force her to make a decision. You don't need chapter and verse and I think you'll know if she lies to you. I'd also tell his wife. She needs to know. All the best. What's up with people saying sorry for looking at their spouse's phone? My 26F boyfriend, 26M, decided he's done. We've been together for a little over 10 years and have a 3-year-old. After I had the baby, our relationship kind of suffered for a while. It didn't help when his mom was diagnosed with cancer last year and he had to take care of her. I had a lot on my plate to handle, with him being tied up with her. We don't live together. I'm the primary parent and he travels for work. My son and I were barely seeing him and he was no longer providing for us anyway. He used to provide everything but when I decided to go back to work, it's like he became angry with the fact that he could no longer control my decisions. To top it off, our son was extremely sick on and off and had to have surgery. He didn't even come, just sent his mom. To be completely clear, I have no issues with his mom. We've always had a great relationship. But when he was pressed with having to take care of both families, he became so mean. I tried so hard to get him to talk to me because I knew he was depressed, but every time he brushed me off. Acted like I was nagging him. The breakup happened somewhat unexpectedly. He just blurted out that he needed peace and I wasn't giving him any. I've been put through so much by just sticking beside him for so long. How can he just give up on me when all I wanted was to be there for him? He calls and makes conversation which confuses me. I don't know what his intentions are with me. I basically told him to leave me alone if he doesn't want me anymore. He just replied okay. How can I handle the breakup and still allow him to interact with his child? I'm not doing well mentally and would prefer no contact, but I know it's not feasible with a kid in the mix. Focus on you and your son for now. That's all you can do. Maybe you'll find with time that you don't actually want to be with him anymore. In any case, take your time and focus on yourself and your son. Your ex can take care of himself. Get child support. Get child support on him and focus on your son. Obtain a lawyer to protect your child by getting child support, legally. He needs to be responsible to your child. If it's done with a lawyer, he may not be happy. But it's your responsibility to at least make him be responsible financially. Get a lawyer and file for child support and custody. There are co-parenting applications that you can use to communicate about the child.